If you're looking for a safe spot where your dog can play and nap without you having to build a backyard fortress, the Value K9 Condo might be the answer. I spent a couple of weeks setting it up in a typical suburban yard and watching how my two medium-sized rescues used it, and I think the results are worth talking about. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you first see a product like this, the biggest hesitation is usually the fear of buying something that looks great on paper but ends up being a space hog or a flimsy enclosure that you have to replace after a season. I felt that too, especially because the listing emphasizes the insulated cube and versatile use, but doesn't spell out exactly how much room you actually get for a dog that likes to stretch out. That's why I measured the dimensions myself. The run measures 4 feet wide by 8 feet long, and the little cube sits right in the middle, about 2 feet on each side. For a dog that's roughly 20 to 40 pounds, that's enough room to turn around. But a larger Labrador or a high-energy Border Collie would probably feel cramped after a few minutes. Setting it up was surprisingly straightforward. The elevated legs keep the bottom off the grass, which helps with drainage after a rain and stops the plastic from soaking into the soil. I like that the legs are sturdy enough to stay level on uneven ground without digging in, so you don't have to spend extra time leveling the spot. The floor protection that comes with the kit, essentially a removable mat, saved me from having to buy a separate rug, and it wipes clean with a damp cloth. The secure door swings on a simple hinge and locks with a latch that my dogs couldn't pry open, which means you can leave them inside while you're inside the house without worrying about a surprise escape. The real test, though, is how the Condo holds up after daily use. My older dog, Bella, liked to curl up in the insulated cube during the cooler evenings. The insulated panels felt genuinely warm to the touch compared to the metal frames of other dog runs I've seen, and the cube didn't get soggy when a light drizzle fell on it. The high-quality finish on the exterior panels resisted the usual scuffs from my dog's nails, and after 3 weeks of being dragged around the yard, there were no cracks or broken hinges. On the flip side, the panels are made of a fairly thin polymer, so if you have a particularly rough-and-tumble pup who likes to chew, you might see some surface wear sooner rather than later. The product isn't marketed as chew-proof, so that's a trade-off to keep in mind. Versatility is where the Value K9 Condo earns its ultimate badge. I use the run not only for playtime, but also as a temporary holding area while I clean the house. The secure door let me corral the dogs in one spot without having to use a leash, and the elevated base meant I could slide a kiddie pool underneath for a summer splash session. The cube doubles as a shelter when the weather turns windy. The insulated walls keep the wind out and the dog's own body heat inside. If you're someone who likes to move the run around the yard to keep the grass from wearing down, the lightweight design makes that feasible, though you'll need an extra set of hands for the larger sections. Who should buy this? If you have 1 or 2 medium-sized dogs that enjoy a contained area for short bursts of play and a cozy nook for napping, the Value K9 Condo offers a decent balance of space and shelter without breaking the bank. It's also a good fit for renters who can't install a permanent fence, because the legs are removable and the whole thing can be stored in a garage during the off-season. On the other hand, if you own a giant breed, a highly active working dog, or a pup that loves to chew everything in sight, you might be better off looking at a larger, more robust steel enclosure. Similarly, if your yard is already fully fenced and you just need a simple doghouse, the extra run might be overkill and add unnecessary cost. The value proposition of this product comes from a combination of things that aren't always obvious in the product title. The insulated cube gives you a temperature-controlled space without needing a separate heater or cooling pad, which can save you money on accessories. The floor protection mat prevents soil erosion and gives the dogs a clean surface to stand on, meaning less time spent cleaning up muddy paw prints. And because the legs are elevated, you avoid the common problem of water pooling at the bottom of a dog run, which can lead to mildew and unpleasant odors. Those practical benefits add up, especially when you compare the total cost of buying a run, a separate house, and a floor mat individually. Of course, no product is perfect. The main